Hey everybody, this is Perch. I it's kind of a State of the Union type comment we'll do here today. A couple thoughts I just want to convey. I don't have email to read or anything like that. But I chat. Chat. That should be a word actually. A chat, text, chat. No, that doesn't work anymore. Text. Now it sounds like cereal. Anyway, I talked to a bunch of people, and a couple things stick in your mind, right? You hear something, and you walk away, and you drink, and you eat, and you do something with your kids. You come back, and then this thought comes up like 2 a.m. And so there's a couple thoughts to kind of address. One of them, and I'll just put this out first, was that I sound tired lately. I sound like just wiped out. And there's some truth to that. I think I've barely alluded to it because I've gotten more, I don't know, sensitive, protective. I don't know, a couple y'all out there have gotten weird where you track more of my life than feels healthy. And so, like I was talking about, I'm flying here, flying there, and then I came across this video somebody sent me who was somebody who's not a fan, let's put it that way, on the anti-SJW side, but it happens with all groups, who had my, like, they've been tracking the places I said I'd travel to, and they're trying to like figure out kind of where I was going and why. And it was not a bit or a joke. It was creepy as hell. And that's so, this is the kind of stuff where I'll put it to you this way. We all complained when one group, in this case, I'm using these terms, but in this case, the quote SJW group, would do this cancel culture stuff years ago. Still happens, but years ago there's this pattern. Really, you saw a lot of it in like 2015 to like 18, where people would like go through 20 years of Facebook, and they're back in AOL message boards, and they're like, hey, at this, look at this one tweet or post or something where you said those guys, and you're referring to black and brown people, and that's a racist, like just the creepiest stuff. Right? Did your employer know about this? And that was absolutely wrong, nasty, gross behavior. I joined Twitter with the Perch Count, 2017? I want to say 2016, 2017, right around there. I remember where I was at the time, but I won't mention the name so it doesn't show up on another video. But it was snowing outside, so it wasn't Hawaii. Anyway. And I was trying to figure out, I just wanted an account because I had my retailer account and I was posting there, and I had my professional account and I was posting there, and I made some comment about, I don't know what it was. Like, it wasn't a nasty comment. It's not anything like here today. It's like, ooh, the price of Spider-Man seems very high. And, Dan Slott blocked me for it as my retailer account, and Al Ewing did the same. And, I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to complain about prices, then I'm clearly going to need some other account, because otherwise, these lunatics are going to do this kind of stuff. So I created that Perch Count. The name was like, what name can I get? And I picked that name. I've told different stories over the years because my memory changed on this. There was no thought behind any of it. I used Winnie the Pooh as an avatar. There was no thought behind that either, other than it seemed funny. People search for deeper meanings. There wasn't one. But anyway, I went along, and I was posting a lot of things, both on the thing I got into really early on was around this free shipping, over shipping. It was free. And there's a bunch of people at the time, including Richard, and he and I, or your boy Zach, I guess. I still don't know what the right screen name is to call a guy. Anyway, he was talking about this is wrong. It's burdening the shops with more comics they have to pay for. And I was like, no, it's actually not true. You don't pay for them. Yes, there's shipping, but the shipping is negligible. It's like dimes, it's no money. And we're not talking about thousands of comics. It's not actually a bigger deal than you think. It's not like they're like, oh, we're going to get this Miss Marvel out there, so we're going to overship 5,000 copies and claim as a #1 seller of the month. It's like they overship like 20 copies, maybe. If you've ordered 20 copies, it's usually a one-to-one thing. And to his credit, by the way, I don't know if I've ever actually, tipped my hat to the guy over this. He's like, oh, I was incorrect. And then, life went on. That was unusual because others were like, "F no, Perch is an industry shill. That's not how it works." It's like, look, I mean, I posted actually my bill, my order punch list. I'm like with little red arrows. I'm like, here it is. You notice it's zeroed out. And then still people were like, "Well, you could have digitally altered that." I'm like, okay, at this point, you're crazy. But anyway, I was posting this stuff, and I used the hashtag Comicsgate in the post because the CG at the time was talking about this. CG in like 2016, 2017 was very different than it is today because there really was not a lot of comics being produced. It wasn't the crowdfunding thing hadn't really kicked off and gotten going yet. It was more about, you know, commenting on comics, and it was the CG was, you know, from the name, a spawn from Gamergate, and I posted in there as well, like again using the hashtag because, you know, at least with other industries, and frankly, this is how the system works. If you wanted to tie your part of the conversation into, you know, the topic, you use the hashtag. That's why the feature was invented. And so I did this, and then I did another one where I said, I think the Comicsgate name is stupid, specifically the gate, like Watergate, Gamergate, all this kind of stuff. It ties you to a thing. I think just, I don't know, seems dumb to me. So two kind of negative comments about this, about CG, but I did use the tag because, again, I wanted the conversation in that thread. Two people, Andrew Fargo, anyway, he jumped on it and then, seemingly showing a complete lack of reading comprehension, goes, "Oh, you're one of those incels." Despite the fact that I was arguing with the group he professes to dislike, the fact that I used the hashtag was a problem. And then someone, and I'm assuming him, goes into some groups, some private groups, and says, "Here's another one for the block list. He's posting to Comicsgate." And then, you know, a number of creators blocked me. Years later, you know, I'm doing interviews with people, and I hear a writer going, "Well, I would never work with him because he's a CGer." And the person who I'd interviewed was like, it wasn't Ron Mars. It may have been Ron Mars, actually. Anyway, somebody who's put this way, clearly not associated with CG, go, "Yeah, I don't think so. That is absolutely not the vibe or the content." And it's like, yeah, but the proof is he posted to that thread. Look, you know, I dug through, again, I went back 7 years and I found this tweet and he had used the hashtag, and that's proof. And so that's the kind of lunatic behavior, anyway, that I think exists in a lot of cases. And it's sad because I think it shaped the conversation in a weird way. You know, I think about the comic shop, and I think about the conversations that you had there. A lot of them were passionate, a lot of them were stupid. So I mean stupid in a good way here. I just mean they're like, you know, "What do you think Silver Surfer's board's made out of?" It's like, I don't know, alien. Is it part of him? Is he like, you know, because he can form it kind of from himself, or can he? There's been different comics that seem to indicate different things. Is it part of, like, is it an appendage of him that he disconnects from him and then he rides around on? Is he basically, you know, is he riding around on his dick? Is he like, because if you look at the guy, he doesn't seem to have any clothes on, and he's like a eunuch, but he's got this board out that he kind of, you know, detach his dick and he's riding around on it. This is a conversation went on for hours in a comic shop, and it was stupid and it was fun. But that was what I think, I don't know, speaking for me, but I suspect many for you as well. We kind of hoped social media would be. It would be like that. It would be, you know, people talking about comics, you know, clearly a love of comics. And it doesn't need to make sense, you know? It doesn't, like, does Superman ever wash that costume of his, or does he sweat? The fact that he's, like, you know, lifting things and fighting people and all this kind of stuff, does he perspire? Does that suit smell? Where does he take it? You know, does he have multiple suits? Like, is there a closet with a bunch of Superman suits, and then there's laundry day? And is there a laundromat in the Fortress of Solitude? Like, how does that work? Or does he just, like, take his stinky suit and then, like, fly into the ocean and, like, wave it around somewhere? And then Aquaman's like, "You asshole, you're washing your crap in my ocean." Like, this is what I think I hoped comic conversation would be like. And instead, we're getting, the vast assortment of, let's talk about Rogue's ass. Let's talk about, this or that. I deleted a video. I'd recorded one, and I was talking about the video was like YouTuber in a box, I think was the headline there. And I was kind of making fun of this persona of somebody who's like going to get on YouTube, and they're going to have the headset, they're going to have the gamer chair, and they got some toys behind them, and they got some little colored lighting. Last night was the State of the Union. By the way, I had timestamps in, so again, if psychos out there who are tracking my movements can put a pin in that one. But Trump had announced he was going to do a live stream commentary during the State of the Union, and I think he kind of did that, but not really. I was like, man, if he gets in like a gamer chair and puts on a little headset, and like behind him is a bunch of like Trump toys and things. He's got like the lighting there, and then like he can have a panel there of people he's coming into to do his live stream, and it's got like Giuliani and Kid Rock, and just that would be the funniest shit ever. I mean, that would be the funniest thing, and he'd get votes for that. I mean, just play into it. But anyway, but I deleted this video because in it, one point I complained about a channel, and then I realized later it's like, oh, that channel is the channel of a particular guy who is a complete and absolute psycho, and this is just going to generate more crap. And it's sad because you want to kind of like the comic book shot conversation around Silver Surfer riding around his own penis. You want to just be able to have funny conversations about people, but it doesn't work that way. If you just bring something up, and lots of people do. There's tons of videos out there. Perch is boring. Perch is an asshole. Perch is woke. Perch is an industry shill. Perch touched me in the inappropriate way. I'm the victim here. I mean, that kind of stuff. But it's not fun. It's not fun to go back at it. It's not fun to have that comment. It's just none of it's enjoyable. I weirdly, as the years have gone on, 2024, the Zach and I have referenced each other from time to time in the videos. Not often, but it happens from time to time. I don't listen to all his videos. I don't have time. I would say I don't listen to most. But it's weird how it's evolved from. I do remember people sending me a link again years ago, right when this channel started, and he said something like, "Perch is like the school teacher that you hate." He's like, and now there's this strange kind of mutual respect that's come out. It's just fun how the world works. But I bring that up because it's an example of how it kind of should work, right? I don't know what he does during his normal life. I don't know. I mean, I assume who he votes for and all that kind of stuff. But I don't need to know. It just can be. That's how it was in the comic shop. People would come in, they would talk, they didn't know each other, they would spar, they would say and have people had heated arguments like you were wrong, you were dumb, and just heated arguments. Never get to fist fights though, but they're heated kind of emotional arguments. And then like the argument would settle down and like, well, see you next Wednesday, and they would go away, not as friends but friendly. That's normal. I was glad for it in that case. But that's not where we're at right now. There's too much bravado. There's too much people trying to prove that they're like, I'm an alpha male. That's why I'm gonna, whine like a bitch for, every day for months. The other is better. And I think that's the conversation I want to have. I don't know. It also brings up funny things. I did a video. Again, I think for those of you who listen to my channel, I record sometimes 40, 50, 60 videos at a time. Not all at once, but, during drives, during commutes. Like right now where I'm in a censored location. But I do this and I upload them, and it takes away any kind of time. My channel suffers for it, by the way. I have lots of subscribers, but in many cases, low views. And the biggest reason for that is, no editing, poor audio quality, but also time. When I was addressing news stories of the day, that day, then I had a lot more views because it was timely. Now it's like, hey, has anybody heard of Sweet Baby Inc? It's like, oh no, we were talking about that 5 months ago. Sorry, it's you're late to the party. And that's okay. Again, my goal of this channel is not to have hits, not to make money. I'll still need to make that money to, raise money for Marvel so they can hire talented people. That charity is going. that's where it's at. But it also creates funny moments. So I did a video where I was talking about, this rogue's butt controversy. And then I'm looking, because I hadn't looked for a while, and I'm looking and I see a video from Zach talking about Rogue's butt. And immediately I think, shit, did that video post already? Is it still coming out? When did I do that video? And and when I listened to that bit, because now I'm curious, he's got the almost exact same take as I do, which is, hey, you search through all the frames of the show, you're going to see all kinds of asses, and this is kind of a silly thing for, 50-year-old people to complain about when there's lots of really legitimate things to complain about. This one seems like kind of a dumb. But I still can't tell, who did it first? Because either we both sound like clones of each other on that topic, or I don't know. It's funny. What's funny is that video could, maybe come out 2 weeks from now, and people are like, wow, he's copying him and it's late. But anyway, it's just, I didn't know he'd done that. But anyway, it's funny stuff. Look, I'm going to go away for a bit. Now, you won't notice it because, again, the videos are queued up. I've said before, channel is winding down. It's still winding down, but I get bored. So I drive. I'm like, I have something to talk about. So I talk about it. I record it. Before you know it, I've got 80 videos stacked up. And, at last check, I was looking at the stuff I was processing through Adobe, and there were 140 something odd videos there, or audio tracks, have not been uploaded. So if you're doing the math, that takes me to the fall. So who knows, right? The other option, what you'll know is if the channel is really coming to an end quickly, you're just going to see oh, we're back to 3 videos a day. You're just going to see me just start throwing them out there to just get it done. Or I'll just mass delete a bunch of that stuff. I mean, that's fine too. But we're coming up on April or end of March, and it will officially be 5 years that this channel has been going, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's a lot of videos. But thank you for everybody who's been along for the ride, the OG followers, and those of you who are new. And if you're kind of confused, what's the point of this and what's the conversation, this video or any of them, it's that. Imagine, close your eyes, we're in a comic shop. We're talking about Silver Surfer, and we're speculating about whether his board is actually his dick. And that's what we're doing here. A lot of people I've got a lot of mails of people who want to do interviews, including very big names, and I need to settle down so I can actually do those interviews. So we're going to take a break. Again, the videos will continue to go. You'll never notice. But take a break for probably about 2 months, I think. But in that 2 months, I'm going to record those interviews. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do is going to kind of record those interviews. I'm going to try and get, Joe on to do some stuff during that time period. So kind of space those out. I don't want to hurt him. And I'm being open about this because I have my opinion and he has his opinion. And Zach, we have different opinions at times. And that's, again, normal human behavior. But if, Vita is going to go through 7 years of tweets to find the one with the hashtag, Comicsgate, and then I don't want to screw him. Be it that he's like, oh, you're on the Perch Show. I don't want to do that. I don't want to screw anybody. So even the people I interview with, I'm usually like, hey, don't want this to hurt your career, just so you know, there's some psychos out there. And the people who I've interviewed are all like, Christ, no, I don't care about that. But it's a shame. That's where it's at. But I worry. Not worry. I'm just sensitive to people like Joe, where he's doing great work for comics and trying to build his career, and I don't want it to derail by a psychopath. Even though we hard disagree on a lot of things. I think it's more dangerous to live in a culture, by the way, where people are afraid to say what's on their mind because they know somebody's going to come after them, so they just keep quiet. And then, that's way more dangerous, right? Then they just act without, you don't know what they're thinking, and crazy stuff happens. That's much worse. But that's kind of where we're pushing everybody. Don't say a word, and this can happen. And it pulls down thoughts. One of the videos I need to do, I was asked in a chat to talk about is the whole ESG, Sweet Baby Ink and that kind of stuff. I will get to that. The ESG thing is painful to me because there's just some business fundamentals about how that works and how companies use it and the investment firms that do it and everything else that are just facts, you know. And there's a lot of speculation you can give, but there's like a lot of people who talk about this stuff clearly have no investment background or understanding or knowledge or anything. They're just talking about stuff. And, you know, you go to lots of corporations, by the way, ESG, it's the E. It's just the E people care about. But the corporations really do not give a crap about the S. They care about the E, the environmental. And they really don't care about the environmental. They care about supply chain, and they care about making sure that, you know, they turn on the TV and they see old Joe Biden talking about, like, we're reducing our climate footprint, and I'm going to start finding companies that don't do X, Y, and Z. And you have these multi-billion corporations who are like, well, if he starts doing that and these regulations come out, then that's going to F me pretty good. So we better make sure we're positioning our company that we're not on the wrong side of that, or we're going to lose a ton of money. That's 95% of the conversations around ESG is that. And you don't have to believe me, but I've been in these corporations. I've been in these meetings. It's about MTO. It's about supply chain. It's about that. That is what this is about all the time. I know but that's not sexy. You know, you can't turn on Fox News or CNN and everything else, and they're like, we need to be really alarmed about this ESG fund because, you know, the guy in the shipping warehouse is going to have to change his loader to an electric vehicle instead of a fuel power. Like that, like people are bored. But if you go, hey, you know, this corporation's wanting to hire a bunch of people with blue hair and no gender, yeah, that gets people's attention, and so you get a lot more of that. But you know, I don't know, corporations, one of the big mega corporations, even though it's funny, why has nobody pointed this out? By the way, you know, we look at Disney, and you're like, oh, look at all the stuff this company is doing. All right, now let's take a look at the board and the management team, the senior management team, and get them all in one picture. As a picture was recently done, I want to say 6 months ago or so, had the big Disney, kind of the senior management, the big stakeholders, the board, and they're on this picture, like a big group picture. You're looking at that, you're like, can't help but notice they're almost all white guys, like almost all of them. Like it's like 90%. And so you look at that, and then you hear somebody from Disney come out and go, diversity is really important to us. It's like, yeah, except for your leaders, except for the people making millions of dollars, less important for that group, apparently. Anyway, hypocrisy is a hell of a drug. So anyway, I'm going to take some time off. I need to rehab my back a little bit and my leg, and you know, I'm going to actually try and get myself in a state to get into a triathlon here, which should be pretty close. I need to get the back worked out. Going to travel a bunch. Going to go to countries X, Y, and Z that apparently some psychos record. So we won't do that, but you guys all know where I like to go. And, you know, I'll be around. And again, you won't notice any of this because tomorrow there'll be a video from hell knows where. But thank you all for hanging out with us. 5 years, pretty cool. I think when I record the next video, it'll be after that anniversary, or maybe I'll do something on the day, just an off. But anyway, we're on this journey together, and you know, now you know, is the Silver Surfer surfboard his penis? You tell me. Thanks for listening.